In a world governed by invisible laws, where thought becomes power and will becomes the bridge to the impossible, there exists an ancient secret that only a few have learned to master, the art of mental attraction. This is not about wishful thinking or dreams that fade with the morning light. It is about a real, tangible force, silently operating in the depths of your consciousness, the magnetic mind. Wallace D. Wattles, pioneer of constructive thinking, offers in these pages a transformational work, a mental map to awaken within you a dormant power that not only draws the right people, but summons extraordinary projects and opportunities once thought unreachable. This is not just another text. It is a ritual of reconnection with your creative nature, a guide to forge a presence so powerful, others will feel your influence before you even speak. A key that unlocks the doors to your professional, social, and personal destiny. Get ready to reprogram your thoughts, align your emotions, and ignite the magnetic field within you. Because once you understand how the magnetic mind works, nothing and no one will be able to resist your energy. Welcome to the beginning of your transformation. Your new reality begins now. There is a substance in the universe, an invisible element, yet absolutely real, that penetrates, permeates, and forms everything. This thinking, living, and intelligent substance is the source of all things that have been, are, and will be. In my previous work, The Science of Getting Rich, I taught that whoever thinks about what they desire with faith and purpose impresses that image upon the formless substance, and that image takes shape and manifests in their external world. This is a universal law, unbreakable and absolute. Now, this same law does not only apply to material things, houses, money, jobs, property, but also to those things that cannot be measured in currency or dimensions, people, opportunities, and coincidences that seem to work miracles in men's lives. And here is an even deeper truth. The mind, when it thinks in a certain way, becomes a living magnet, attracting into its life everything it needs to realize its vision, no matter how remote, improbable, or impossible it may seem. Most men live like leaves blown by the wind without direction, without understanding the source of their power. They react to life instead of creating it. But those who understand the law of sustained thought, who cultivate a clear vision and hold it firmly and gratefully, become organizing centers of realities. They do not struggle to attract anyone. They do not chase opportunities desperately. Everything comes to them, everything attends them, everything cooperates with them. This book has been written to reveal how the human mind, acting in accordance with the universal mind, attracts key people, organizes impossible meetings, synchronizes distant actions, and causes complex projects to take shape without visible effort. It is not superstition nor a mental trick to console the ignorant man. It is a law as certain as the law of gravity, as steady as the sunlight, and as powerful as the energy that keeps the planet spinning. Here you will learn that thinking in a certain way, clearly, with faith, with gratitude, and aligned with good, is enough to summon what is needed. You will learn that the right people are not searched for, they are attracted, that opportunities are not chased, they are provoked, that projects are not built with frantic effort. They are consolidated by the power of sustained thought in perfect harmony with efficient action. This book is not for those who wish to manipulate others, dominate with their mind, or attract out of selfishness. It is for those who desire to live in alignment with the law of the whole, and from that position become a silent, magnetic, creative, and harmonious influence in the world. It is not about enchantment, but certainty. It is not about witchcraft, but science. It is not about controlling others, but about governing oneself from the inner center where the will touches God. All creation is attraction. The flower attracts the bee, the seed attracts the water, the sun attracts the earth, the pure soul attracts the soul that will help it. The universe is organized attraction, and you, thoughtful reader, are part of the universal magnetic principle. There is no limit to what you can attract if you form the idea clearly, hold it with faith, and act with purpose. So let us begin. I will show you how to make your mind a magnet, not to dominate the world, but to live in peace with it and attract everything your just and elevated purpose requires. The Magnetic Mind, The Secret to Attracting All That You Need, by Wallace D. Wattles. We have noticed that more than 90% of those who visit our channel are not subscribed. You can support this project by pressing the subscribe button and liking the video. Thank you for inspiring us to keep creating more and better content for you. Are you ready to transform your life? Chapter 1, The Thinking Substance and the Magnetic Mind. At the beginning of all creation, before there was form, name, or measure, there was a formless substance, living, thinking, and intelligent. This substance, which some call spirit, others God, and others simply universal energy, is the origin of all manifestation. It is not dead matter, it is pure consciousness. And this consciousness not only exists, it thinks, and by thinking, it creates. Just as a man's thought shapes his actions, the thought of this primordial substance shapes everything that exists in the universe. Everything you see, from the mountain to the smallest flower, from the human body to celestial orbits, has been formed by thought. Matter does not organize itself. Intelligence directs its arrangement, and the source of that intelligence is the thinking substance. This is the fundamental truth upon which the entire science of the creative mind is built. There is a substance that permeates everything, and when it receives a sustained idea, begins infallibly to work to give it form. Now, if this substance responds to thought, what power does human thought have over it? The answer is simple. The same power as divine thought. Because man, made in the image of that source, shares in its nature. The human mind is a channel through which the thinking substance expresses itself. And just as a seed attracts the moisture and warmth it needs to germinate, so too does human thought, sustained with clarity, faith, and purpose, attract to its visible world all that it requires to take form. I say sustained thought because not all thought produces. Only that which is maintained consistently, with clear direction and defined intention, is capable of imprinting a lasting form on the substance. Fleeting thoughts are like shadows on water. They leave no trace. But deep thoughts held firmly are like molds placed on the plastic substance of the universe. They shape, attract, summon, and organize. Sustained thought is a magnetic force. It is not merely an idea in the mind. It is a living current that flows from the center of being and crosses space to touch all that resembles it. It is a vibration that aligns with other vibrations of the same nature, and thus, without physical contact, attracts people, places, events, and conditions that resonate with its frequency. This is not fantasy, it is law. Just as iron responds to a magnet, reality responds to sustained thought. But what makes a thought magnetic? What is the secret component that turns an idea into a force of attraction? There are three elements: clarity, faith, and gratitude. When a man thinks clearly about what he desires, not ambiguously, not doubtfully, but with sharp vision, his thought becomes precise. When he holds that idea with faith, that is, with certainty that the substance already belongs to him, his thought becomes vibrant. And when he gives thanks for it as if he already had it, his thought becomes fruitful. Clarity gives direction, faith gives strength, and gratitude gives life. Many have wondered why thought does not always seem to attract what is desired. The answer lies in inconsistency. They change their desires: doubt, fear, despair. Such thought is not sustained, not clear, not fertile. It is like a seed thrown to the wind. It cannot germinate because it finds no firm ground. The magnetic mind is one that thinks in a single direction, without hesitation or contradiction. It is a mind not distracted by appearances, not disturbed by time or the opinions of others. It knows what it wants and holds it in its inner vision with the calmness of one who knows the invisible is already acting. The thinking substance needs no haste. It does not act on impulse or agitation. Everything it creates is done in harmony with the order of the universe. Therefore, the mind that desires to attract must also be serene, firm, patient, and receptive. It is not in anxiety that the magnet of thought is formed, but in stillness. It is not in impatience that attraction occurs, but in silent certainty. And most remarkable of all, this mind does not attract only material things. It attracts people, relationships, encounters that cannot be explained by common logic, opportunities that seem to have been written from eternity. Because when thought is clear and sustained, the substance begins to organize all the means necessary for its realization, and among those means are the souls of other men. Men do not cross your path by chance. Those who enter your life to help you, open a door, teach you a lesson, or participate in your purpose arrive because the thought you have sustained has summoned their presence, even if they do not know it. Thought creates invisible paths that sooner or later cross in the visible world. This is not manipulation, because we do not force their will. It is harmony. It is resonance. Just as two identical notes on different instruments vibrate in unison without touching, so too do minds vibrate and meet on the plane of attraction. Sustained thought calls to the like, and the like comes. Some think they must make excessive efforts to find the right people, to find the desired opportunities, to organize their projects. But I tell you, first think with direction, with faith, with gratitude, and then act in accordance with that thought. Do not waste energy searching for what by law can come to you. The magnetic mind is not passive. It is active but not frantic. It acts efficiently because it knows that every act executed from sustained vision has multiplying power. It acts without anxiety because it has understood that the universe cooperates with the thought of man aligned with good. And here I reveal a greater truth. The mind becomes a more powerful magnet when its purpose is not merely selfish, but expansive. When the desire to attract people, projects, or opportunities is not just for personal satisfaction, but to serve, contribute, illuminate, or uplift, the substance responds faster because it itself vibrates expansively and cooperates with that which aligns with its nature. Do not fear desiring great things. Do not fear thinking of deep relationships, meaningful encounters, ambitious projects. If your desire is clear, just, and sustained with gratitude, the substance will respond. But leave no room for doubt divides thought, and what is divided weakens, and what weakens does not attract. In the following chapters, I will reveal how this principle applies in attracting specific people, generating synchronicities, mysteriously organizing favorable circumstances, and the appearance of allies, ideas, and means that bring any project to life. But before continuing, you must understand this starting point of all real attraction. The thinking substance responds to sustained thought. Your mind, when it thinks with clarity, faith, and gratitude, not only observes the world, it magnetizes it, and everything that vibrates in resonance with your vision will come to you with the precision of a natural law, because the universe never fails. And you, when you think in this way, are acting with the power that moves galaxies. That silent and sacred power is your birthright. Chapter 2. The principle of the mental magnet. Just as there is a law for the growth of the seed, for the flow of rivers, or for the movement of the stars, there is also a law for thought that attracts. This law is not a human invention nor a religious dogma, but a universal principle that operates with the same certainty as gravity. It is the principle of the mental magnet, by which the human mind, when thinking in a certain way, generates vibrational waves that travel through the amorphous substance of the universe and provoke exact responses according to the quality of that thought. To understand this principle, it is necessary to realize that every thought is a form of energy, not a metaphor, but a vibratory reality. Every sustained thought in the mind emits a frequency. That frequency does not remain confined inside the skull, nor dissolve aimlessly into the ether. On the contrary, it propagates in all directions like an expanding wave, and in doing so touches and modifies the universal substance that permeates everything. This is the foundation of mental attraction. Thought creates an impression in the living substance of the universe, and that impression begins to organize everything necessary to take external form. There are no limits of space or time for this operation. What is true in one corner of the world is true everywhere. The mind of a man sitting in a humble room can exert an influence that crosses continents and stirs distant hearts, not by personal will but by vibratory affinity. Just as sound travels through the air, just as light moves through space, thought is transmitted through the invisible substance that forms and connects all things. This eternal, malleable, obedient substance responds immediately to the dominant thought, and not only memorizes it but multiplies it, nourishes it, directs it toward the similar, and begins weaving the threads of reality that will manifest. The principle of the mental magnet states that every sustained thought generates a field of attraction. That field summons related elements, repels the incompatible, and establishes invisible relationships that later translate into connections, encounters, opportunities, and visible transformations. This is neither mystery nor superstition. It is the natural operation of the creative universe. Just as a spark attracts fire, just as a musical note calls forth harmony, focused and vibrant thought attracts everything in harmony with it. The ordinary person thinks their ideas remain in their mind or are mere internal reactions without external consequences. But the one who understands this law knows that every thought acts as an agent in the invisible world and that no mental vibration is sterile. Every thought, especially if sustained and charged with emotion, enters the substance and begins its work. Coincidences do not exist, only effects whose causes have yet to be understood. When it is said that the mind attracts, a literal truth is spoken. Thought sends signals that resonate in the original substance, and this intelligent and creative substance sets in motion to respond to that signal. But how does one distinguish a thought that generates attraction from one that does not? The answer lies in intensity, continuity, and the emotional vibration accompanying it. Scattered, weak, contradictory thoughts do not exert attraction. They are like a broken compass, they point nowhere. In contrast, a single constant thought, maintained with faith and emotion, becomes a magnetic pore that begins altering the configuration of reality around it. People begin to appear, opportunities emerge, projects align, and although it may seem like magic to the ignorant eye, it is nothing more than the law operating with absolute precision. This principle also explains why some men seem to have constant luck, while others live under a shadow of frustration and lack. The former, although perhaps unaware, think in a certain way. That is, they hold clear, optimistic, grateful, and good-oriented visions. This way of thinking generates an attractive vibratory field, and the universe responds. The latter, on the other hand, think with fear, doubt, and anxiety. Those waves also travel through the substance, but instead of attracting, they repel what is desired and attract what is feared. Human thought is therefore not neutral. It is always generating waves of attraction or repulsion. It is always creating a field around itself. This field is unseen, but it is felt. It is the invisible atmosphere that emanates from each person. That is why some human beings are beacons that illuminate and summon, while others are centers of chaos that deter and disturb. It is not their face, their voice, or their fortune that defines them. It is their vibratory field, and that field is the work of their thought. The key, then, to becoming a true mental magnet is not unrestrained desire nor mechanical thinking, but the harmonious union of sustained thought with inner certainty. When you think with faith about what you wish to attract, without doubt or contradiction, and do so with love and gratitude, you are emitting a powerful, irresistible signal that stirs the universal substance, and that substance responds with the precision of an eternal law to the image you have imprinted. But there is a nuance that cannot be forgotten. Attractive thought is not capricious. You cannot attract what contradicts your internal state. You cannot attract love if you vibrate with resentment. You cannot attract collaboration if you think from competition. You cannot attract opportunities if you live in complaint. The universe does not respond to what you say you want, but to what you really are in thought and emotion. Here enters the purity of intention. The true mental magnet is one who not only desires to obtain, but also to be useful, to grow, to serve, to expand nobly. When thought is aligned with good, its force is unlimited, because then it is not the ego that desires to bring, but the soul in unity with the source. And the source denies nothing to those who think as it thinks, in order, in expansion, in love, in fullness. In the following pages, we will explore how to apply this principle to different aspects of life: human relationships, partnerships, important decisions, creative paths. But never forget this foundation. Thought is vibration, vibration is attraction, and attraction is creation. The mind that thinks with clarity, faith, and gratitude becomes a living magnet, and all that is necessary to fulfill its purpose will inevitably be drawn toward it, not because it demands it, not because it seeks it, but because it has understood how the law of the universe operates. Chapter 3. People as manifestations of creative desire. When a man holds a clear vision of what he wishes to create, he is not merely attracting things, he is also attracting people. For in the vast web of the universe, where all is interconnected through the thinking substance, souls are drawn to one another by the force of sustained creative thought. No one appears in your life by chance. Every meaningful relationship, every encounter that leaves a mark, every being that crosses your path with purpose is a living manifestation of a deep desire, active in the invisible realm long before its outward appearance. Men believe that others come into their lives through social circumstances, geographic coincidence, or casual fortune. But the one who understands the workings of the mind as a creative force knows this is not so. People are not random. They are drawn not by direct will nor by manipulation of others' choices, but by vibrational affinity between minds that have been prepared to meet. Creative thought, when aligned with the universal mind, generates an invisible force that organizes paths, synchronizes timing, and gathers the souls whose presence is essential for the fulfillment of the right purpose. Imagine a stone thrown into a lake. The ripple it creates expands in circles, touching floating objects, moving them, drawing them closer, rearranging them. So too does thought when it is emitted with clarity, faith, and gratitude. It produces mental waves in the universal substance, waves that reach the minds of others who are attuned to that same frequency. And even if they don't know why, even if they don't understand the reason, they feel the impulse to move, to act, to seek, to speak, to arrive. The sustained thought of one stirs the motion of others, not through coercion, but through resonance. This explains why, when one thinks with elevated purpose, key people begin to appear. Some bring ideas, others opportunities, others tools, and others new paths. It does not matter if you had never met them before. The law does not require your prior knowledge. It knows better than you what is necessary. Souls arrive when thought has established the proper magnetic field, not because you call them by name, but because the vibration of your desire silently summons them with the authority of a higher law. Now, this is not about attracting specific individuals out of whim. Thought should not focus on a face, a name, or a particular figure. That limits the action of the substance and binds it to your judgments. What is right is to hold the clear vision of the purpose and trust that the universal mind will send the right people for its fulfillment. Not the ones you think are needed, but the ones who truly are. And they will come because they have been summoned by the vibration of your sincere and harmonious desire. This is a common mistake among those who begin to apply the law of thought. They try to attract that person, to seduce that figure, to force the appearance of that individual. They do not realize that in doing so, they are diverting the power of their thought toward control, not creation. True attraction does not dominate. It cooperates. And cooperative thought does not aim to manipulate the other, but to form a field of purpose that inevitably draws those who are ready to participate in it. The creative mind does not say, "I want this person to come to me." The creative mind says, "I desire to accomplish this work, to live this experience, to manifest this good. And then it sustains that vision with gratitude. Then the necessary people begin to move. Some will be allies, others teachers, others mirrors. Some will stay, others only pass through, but all will respond to the call of your vibratory field. And here it is worth emphasizing a powerful truth. Just as you attract people for the fulfillment of your purpose, you are also attracted by the thoughts of others. The law works both ways. When you are in harmony with your essence, when your mind vibrates with clarity and faith, you become not only a magnet, but also a response. You may be the answer to someone else's creative desire. You may be the resource, the word, the timely energy that someone needed, and without knowing why you arrive, you align, you appear. This exchange is natural in a living universe. You are not separate from the whole. You are part of an infinite web of souls seeking to fulfill their purpose, and every right purpose requires others to be fulfilled. The farmer needs the one who makes tools. The sage needs the one who listens. The artist needs the one who inspires. No one creates alone. Every just purpose is collective, even if the vision is born in a single heart. And so, when you think about your desire, do not think only of what you want to obtain. Also, think of the people who will be blessed by it. Think of how your purpose expands and touches other lives. That noble thought raises your vibration and causes the right people to arrive more quickly and more clearly, because the universe loves what expands. The universal mind cooperates with those who think in terms of the greater good. Sometimes the people who arrive don't seem to fit at first, but do not judge by appearances. Sometimes the instruments of your purpose come disguised as challenges. The one who contradicts you may reveal what you had not seen. The one who resists you may teach you to affirm your worth. All fulfill a role. All have been drawn in, even if their roles are not immediately clear. At the beginning, trust that the law makes no mistakes. If someone has come into your life at a key moment, ask yourself, what role does this soul play in the unfolding of my vision? And remember this too, you cannot attract what contradicts your inner vibration. If you wish to attract loyal allies, but you yourself are not loyal to your vision, you will attract confusion. If you wish to attract trustworthy people, but your thought is unstable and contradictory, you will attract doubt. If you wish to attract love, but you think from lack, you will attract more emptiness. The law does not respond to apparent longing, but to actual vibration. That is why, if you wish to attract people who collaborate with you, who love you, who uplift you, you must first become that which you wish to attract, not out of morality, but by vibrational law. Like attracts like. The thinking substance responds with precision. The mind that vibrates in gratitude, in nobility and clarity attracts kindred souls who become channels of purpose. The people you need already exist. They are in the world, living their lives, making decisions, waiting for signals. You do not have to find them. Your sustained thought will find them for you. Your clear vision will be the silent bell that calls them, and they will respond. Sometimes through paths you do not understand, sometimes in ways you would never have imagined. But they will respond, because no creative thought remains without echo in the substance. So when you ask yourself how to attract the right people, do not search in the crowd. Do not struggle to convince. Go within. Form a clear vision, feel it with faith, sustain it with gratitude, and then act in harmony with it as if you were already surrounded by the souls you need, because in truth, you are. Only the invisible has yet to become visible, and it will, because the law never fails when thought is just and sustained. Chapter 4. The silent action of thought in the surrounding world. Thought acts. It acts even when no words are spoken, even when no gestures accompany it, even when it does not become external action. It acts in silence, in the invisible, in the depths. The mind of a person, when thinking in a certain way, radiates vibrations that spread in all directions, touching other minds, influencing conditions, organizing events. And this action is real, precise, and constant. even if it is not perceived by the senses or immediately recognized on the physical plane. Many believe that to influence the world one must speak, act, persuade, or move with intensity. But this is not so. The most powerful action of the mind is silent because it operates on a plane higher than speech and gesture. It operates upon the very substance that forms the world. That living, thinking, plastic substance responds directly to sustained thought, without intermediaries, without physical contact. It is enough to think in a certain way to begin a chain of transformations in the environment. When a person holds a clear idea in their mind, impregnated with faith and gratitude, their thought emits a continuous vibration, like a sustained note in the air. That vibration does not stop at the walls of the room, nor is it lost in the void. It is transmitted through the substance that surrounds them, connects them with others, and links them to the whole. Wherever that vibration reaches, an adjustment begins. The substance starts to organize itself to reflect that idea in the external world. And even if the change is slow or seems imperceptible, it is inevitable. Sustained thought is like the sun upon the snow. It makes no noise, but it melts. It is like the magnet upon iron. It does not push, but it moves. Thus, the mind that thinks with consistency transforms without speaking, convinces without arguing, conquers without struggling, because it is not acting upon the surface of things, but upon their deepest root. The vibration of thought is subtler than speech, but more powerful. And wherever it penetrates, it begins its work. This applies both to people and to situations. You can influence a distant mind without speaking to it. You can change someone's attitude without touching them. You can transform a circumstance without lifting a finger. If your thought is clear, constant, and aligned with the creative substance, its silent action will begin to work changes in the unseen until the unseen becomes visible. This is how mothers feel the thoughts of their children, even from afar. This is how animals perceive a person's intention before they act. This is how kindred hearts are drawn together, even without ever having met. Mental vibration is real and it acts by law. The mind needs no language, for its language is vibration, and that vibration is recognized by the universal substance as a creative command. But this silent action is only effective when the thought remains pure, without contradictions. If a man thinks of prosperity, but at the same time fears lack, his vibration is confused. If he desires to attract someone but harbors doubt or resentment, his signal is weak. The substance responds only to thought that vibrates with clarity, firm purpose, and coherent emotion. The divided mind emits no steady waves, it emits noise. And noise does not create, it only confuses. That is why cultivating the discipline of thought is essential. It is not enough to wish. One must sustain the desire as a clear, vivid vision, bathed in faith and gratitude. Not once, not sporadically, but constantly, until that vibration becomes the natural atmosphere of the being. Then, and only then, does the silent action of thought become irresistible. This action does not always produce immediate results. It often works on invisible planes for days, weeks, or months. But as long as the thought is maintained, the vibration does not cease, and every moment of persistence strengthens the field of attraction, reorganizes conditions, influences wills, and prepares the way. It is like a root growing underground. It is unseen, but one day it breaks through the surface with unstoppable force. And this silent influence is not limited to attracting things or people. It also changes the environment, the atmosphere, the energy of a place. A person who thinks in a certain way transforms the vibrational quality of their surroundings. The home of someone who sustains thoughts of gratitude, peace, and love becomes a center of harmonious attraction. The place where a pure, constant, elevated thought dwells becomes a magnet for kindred experiences. There are those who, without saying much, inspire trust. There are those who, without imposing anything, make others want to collaborate. There are those who, by simply entering a room, change its atmosphere. It is not charisma or luck. It is the result of a mental vibration cultivated in silence, and that vibration, born of creative thought, becomes an invisible force that acts upon everything it touches. Therefore, if you wish to attract something or someone, do not begin with words or external efforts. Begin with your thought. Make it clear, make it firm, make it grateful, and then sustain it in silence but with strength, like the rock beneath the sea that remains unmoved as the waves surround it, like the lighthouse that shines without moving, like the root that nourishes unseen. The silent action of thought is the most constant of actions. It does not rest. It does not depend on the body. It does not tire. You can emit your vibration even while you sleep, if during the day you have held your vision with enough clarity. The mind continues to act, because it is not subject to the body nor limited by time. Its field of influence goes beyond the visible, and its effects reach farther than you can imagine. And here lies a sacred truth. Pure thought, held with love and purpose, is never useless. Even if you do not see its result immediately, it is working. Even if you receive no external response, it is influencing. Even if everything seems the same, in the depths something is being rearranged. For the universe listens to thought before it listens to speech, and it responds to the one who has learned to think as it thinks, in order, in faith, in harmony, in silence. Thus the one who masters their thought masters their environment, not by force but by law. They do not impose, they attract. They do not demand, they summon. They do not coerce, they inspire. And everything they need begins to draw near without effort, as if drawn by a force unseen yet moving all. That force is you when you think in a certain way. Chapter 5. Attract in harmony, not by domination. There are two paths before the one who seeks to attract, the path of harmony and the path of domination. One is subtle, silent, and deep. The other is loud, forced, and superficial. One respects the freedom of the universe and cooperates with its laws. The other seeks to impose a fragmented will, to separate from the whole. And though both paths may seem effective at times, only one leads to true, lasting, peaceful, and elevated manifestation, the path of attraction in harmony. The universe does not respond to force, but to vibration. It does not obey commands born of ego, but thoughts aligned with the universal mind. Those who try to attract people, projects, or opportunities through manipulation, mental seduction, or emotional pressure may achieve fleeting results, but not lasting ones. For what is gained by imposition has no root in eternal substance. Only what is drawn by true resonance endures. Yes, the human mind has power, but that power was not given to dominate others. It was given to create in collaboration with supreme intelligence. The thinking substance that forms the universe does not tolerate imbalance for long. Whatever violates harmony will be dissolved sooner or later by the very law that allowed it to arise. That is why every thought that seeks to attract from separation or control inevitably fails. It may build structures, but they will be fragile. It may gather people, but without soul. It may form alliances, but without a shared purpose, for it was born of fear, not love. True attraction arises when thought aligns with goodness, with expansion, with freedom. It arises when the desire is not to have power over others, but to share a higher purpose. To attract is not to manipulate. It is to vibrate at a frequency so pure that all in tune with it comes naturally. Like the flower that does not chase the bee, but draws it with its scent. Like the sun that does not force anyone to look upon it, yet all things grow toward its light. When you wish to attract people into your life, partners, friends, companions, kindred souls, do not think of convincing them, or winning them, or possessing them. Instead, focus on elevating your own mental frequency. Form a clear vision of the kind of relationship, collaboration, or encounter you desire. Hold that image with gratitude, and then live as if you are already surrounded by those souls. Act as if you are already united with them by a common cause, for in the unseen realm you already are. The creative mind does not say, "I want power over this person." The creative mind says, I wish to attract harmonious relationships that help me grow and serve, and to which I can also bring elevation. That thought enters the universal substance and begins to call, not to slaves or dependents, but to free souls vibrating at the same frequency. And when those souls arrive, the connection will be pure, without fear, without struggle, without doubt. Domination is born of fear. The one who seeks control fears loss. The one who seeks to manipulate fears they are not enough. But the one who thinks in harmony fears nothing, because they know that what is theirs by vibration cannot be taken from them, and what is not theirs should not be held. True security is born of trust in the law, not from attempts to control its outcomes. That is why the one who attracts in harmony lives in peace even before the result appears, because their thought is already in motion, and the visible soon follows the invisible. To attract in harmony also means to respect the free will of others. You cannot attract a specific person with whom you share no real vibration. You may obsess, you may desire, you may visualize their face day and night, but if that soul is not aligned with your purpose or your essence, the law will not allow it. And if it does come, it will not stay, because the substance does not sustain what contradicts its balance. Therefore, instead of asking for a specific person to come, ask to be in harmony with the one who should come. Do not name the person, name the vibration. Do not imagine a face, imagine a connection. Then the one who vibrates with that vision will arrive without need of force. Likewise, do not try to attract from need. Need is a vibration of lack, and it attracts more lack. Attract from wholeness, from gratitude for who you already are and what you are already manifesting. Act as if the universe is your ally, not your judge. Speak, walk, decide as one who knows their thought is already working silent miracles, because it is. To attract in harmony also requires patience. The tree does not demand the fruit to appear. First it spreads roots, then it grows, then it blossoms. Only then does it bear fruit. Likewise, thought must sink deep roots into substance. It must be affirmed day after day without impatience, without doubt. And when the moment is perfect, what you awaited will come, not as something foreign, but as something that always belonged to you by vibrational right. In the act of attraction lies a greater secret. The universe never denies what is in harmony with it. If something does not arrive, it is because your vibration does not yet support it, or because something better must take its place. Trust that universal intelligence makes no mistakes. It has not forgotten you. It is preparing you, or preparing what you desire, so it may join you without conflict. So stop trying to dominate. Do not force relationships. Do not chase what retreats. Do not seduce what is not yours. Instead, affirm in your mind the highest vision of your life. Sow noble, just, loving thoughts. Be loyal to that vision and live in peace while it unfolds, because those who must find you will. The opportunities you need will seek you. The projects you wish to attract will begin to take shape in the invisible with the precision of a cosmic symphony. You did not come to this world to dominate, you came to create. And those who create from harmony attract without effort, for they are in union with the mind that makes all things, and that mind never fails. Chapter 6. How Gratitude Intensifies Magnetic Power. Among all the vibrations the human mind can emit, there is one that surpasses all others in power and purity: gratitude. While faith sustains thought and gives it shape, gratitude magnifies it, ignites it, elevates it to an irresistible frequency. It is gratitude that transforms thought into a call that the universal substance cannot ignore. One who lives in gratitude not only thinks in a certain way, they vibrate in complete harmony with the mind that creates all things. Gratitude is not mere courtesy nor a decorative emotion. It is an operative law. It is a current of energy that, when flowing from the soul toward the creative source, establishes a direct and constant connection between man and the thinking substance of the universe. Where there is gratitude, there is expansion. Where there is ingratitude, there is contraction. He who gives thanks opens himself to the flow of the invisible. He who complains isolates himself from the supply. The original substance that responds to human thought naturally vibrates at a frequency of fullness, abundance, and perfection. When man's thought is tinged with gratitude, that vibration synchronizes with the vibration of the substance, and the magnetic field of desire becomes extraordinarily powerful. It is like tuning an instrument to the exact tone of the universe. Everything begins to resonate with it. But this gratitude is not the kind that is expressed only when something visible has been received. It is not the conditional gratitude that says thank you only when there is evidence. It is a sustained inner gratitude that is affirmed before seeing the result, because it knows the result is already on its way. This is the gratitude of the conscious creator, one who does not give thanks for what he has, but for what he has already created in thought, even before touching it with his hands. He gives thanks because he knows, and that knowing attracts. When a man holds a clear vision of what he desires and sustains it with faith, his thought begins to form an impression upon the universal substance. But it is gratitude that affirms the invisible reality as present. It is gratitude that declares, "This is already mine," with serene conviction that shuts the door to doubt. And since the substance responds to thought that vibrates with certainty, it begins to move swiftly to manifest that which is already being thanked for. Here lies a great secret. Gratitude not only strengthens faith, it neutralizes all negative vibration. There can be no fear where there is gratitude, no envy, no despair, no sense of lack. Grateful thought lifts man above scarcity, removes him from the illusion of separation, and establishes him on the plane where all is already given. For gratitude declares that everything necessary is already being provided, even if it has not yet appeared in linear time. For this reason, one who desires to attract people, opportunities, or projects must not wait to have them in life to give thanks. One must train the mind to live in constant gratitude, as if what is desired has already manifested. Each grateful thought is a vibrational reinforcement that strengthens the connection with the object of desire. Each emotion of gratitude is a seed of certainty planted in the invisible garden where reality is born. And it is not only about being thankful for what is desired. One must also give thanks for what one already has, for who one is, for the path walked. For all true gratitude generates expansion. He who is grateful for the small prepares the way for the great. He who is grateful for the present opens space for the future. The grateful mind does not cling, does not become impatient, does not complain. It simply continues to create, trust, and receive. There are men who pray for what they desire, but they do so from a place of need, of anxiety, of doubt. They do not know that the universe does not respond to the trembling of fear, but to the thought of the one who gives thanks as if he had already received. This is the kind of prayer that creates, the silent prayer of grateful thought, the vibrant certainty of one who has united his will with the all. Gratitude does not merely create a favorable mental state, it creates a spiritual atmosphere that surrounds the individual like a magnetic field. It is a vibration so subtle that it penetrates the hearts of others, inspiring them to help, to collaborate, to trust. One who walks in gratitude becomes a light for others. They do not need to convince, they attract. They do not need to ask, they receive. They do not need to seek, they find. For gratitude opens the invisible doors through which the desired flows, like a river recognizing its course. If you wish the right people to enter your life, give thanks for them before meeting them. If you want opportunities to appear, give thanks for their existence before seeing them. If you want your projects to flourish, live in gratitude for their success before they have taken shape. This mental attitude transforms the mind into a vibrational beacon, a center of constant attraction, a powerful magnet that draws everything aligned with your vision. And do not forget, gratitude is a habit to be cultivated. It does not arise spontaneously in a heart full of complaints. It must be trained, affirmed, and sustained even in the midst of uncertainty. It must become the dominant thought, the background feeling, the permanent tone of the soul. Only then does the magnetic field of the mind become so pure and powerful that everything necessary for the fulfillment of purpose begins to arrive effortlessly by law. Gratitude is the signature that confirms your creation. It is the vibrational note that says to the universe, "I am ready." It is the silent song that makes the invisible bloom. And truly, it is the highest force of attraction man can emit. He who thinks in a certain way and lives in gratitude needs no other tools, for he already holds the most powerful one, a mind in harmony with the all, and that mind attracts all, without struggle, without delay, without error. Chapter 7. The Creative and Efficient Action. In the creative universe, where all substance responds to the impression of thought, faith is the engine that moves the inner image toward outer manifestation. Without faith, thought lacks life. It is only a shadow. With faith, thought becomes an organizing force, a vibrational mold that universal substance recognizes as real and to which it responds with unfailing precision. Faith is not blind belief. It is active certainty. It is knowing before seeing. It is seeing the invisible as if it were already here. But for this faith to be truly creative, it cannot stand alone. It must be joined with its perfect complement, efficient action. To think with faith and not act is like planting without watering. To act without faith is like working without direction. Only when creative thought and harmonious action unite in common purpose can true attraction operate without obstacle. I've taught before that sustained thought, impregnated with clarity, gratitude, and faith, impresses its form upon the thinking substance. That impression is real. But faith is not merely holding a thought with force. It is living, speaking, deciding, and moving, as if what is desired is already on its way. True faith does not waver nor consult appearances. It does not depend on proof nor require external confirmation. It acts in the now, as one who knows that the invisible is as real as the visible and will soon be seen by all. That faith is the mark that distinguishes the conscious creator from the common man. While the ordinary person waits to have in order to begin believing, the creator believes so that having may manifest. While the first demands evidence before moving, the second moves because he has already seen with the inner eye. And that inner vision, sustained with gratitude, is enough to inspire each step, each word, each decision. But this is where many fail. They approach positive thinking, affirm with intensity, visualize with passion, but they do not act. They expect the universe to do it all. They do not understand that action is not an alternative to thought, but its natural extension. Thinking in faith is the first movement. Acting with purpose is its continuation. He who thinks and does not act divides the creative current. He breaks the harmony between idea and manifestation, and without harmony there is no lasting creation. Efficient action is not agitation nor excessive labor. It is not desperate effort nor senseless fatigue. It is doing what must be done today in the most perfect way it can be done, with full attention, with joy, with the intention to contribute to the realization of the vision. It is taking the present moment as the sacred tool to shape the invisible. You do not act to force the result. You act because you know the result has already begun to manifest. This is the law. Every thought sustained in faith requires an action that supports it in the visible. That action will not always be grand. Sometimes it will be a modest step, a simple word, a calm decision, but it will be the right step taken with clarity, with certainty, with efficiency. Because action born of faith carries within itself the vibration of a fulfilled desire, and that vibration is magnetic. Imagine you wish to attract into your life an important partnership, a professional opportunity, a specific project. You have thought about it with clarity. You have sustained the image with gratitude. You have cultivated faith. Now what must you do? You must act as one who is already on the way to that result. You must speak as one who has already received it in the invisible. You must move with the attitude of one who knows the universe has already answered. Because the answer begins to solidify the moment you begin to act in accordance with your vision. Here, another deep principle is revealed. Efficient action shows the universe that you have received. You don't need to wait for what you desire to materialize in order to act as its receiver. You can and must act now as custodian of what you have asked for. Just as a farmer prepares his barn before the harvest, so must you prepare your life to receive. That preparation is efficient action. That preparation is faith made flesh. He who thinks big but lives small contradicts his thought. He who affirms abundance but acts in fear dissolves his vibrational field. He who desires to attract trustworthy people but does not behave as a loyal collaborator sends out opposing signals. That's why I insist. Action is the faithful mirror of thought, and only when both reflect the same can the process of attraction complete itself without obstruction. Now then, do not wait to have the entire plan before acting. Faith does not need detailed maps. The next step is enough. Give your best today. Care for the present as if you were already walking across the bridge toward your vision. Do well what lies before you. Improve what is within your reach. Serve with excellence where you are. Because every efficient act done with pure intention is a silent lever that moves the invisible gears of universal substance. And when you don't know what to do, remain in gratitude. Remain in inner stillness, but not in inactivity. Tend to your daily tasks with a lifted spirit. Clean your space. Care for your body. Listen to your intuition. Often the most effective action is born of inner rest, and from that rest emerges the clarity for the next move. In summary, thinking in faith and acting with efficiency are not two separate acts, but two faces of the same creation. One shapes in the invisible, the other builds in the visible. One commands the substance, the other prepares the field, and both in harmony form the perfect channel for the universe to pour its answer. Do not forget, the universe does not reward empty words or rootless thoughts. It rewards the man who thinks as a creator, acts as a possessor, and gives thanks as one who has already received. That man is a living magnet. He attracts without forcing, receives without stealing, lives without fear, because his thought and his action are one. And that one vibrates in tune with the mind that makes all things. Therefore think in faith, act with purpose, and you will see that everything necessary for your fulfillment, people, paths, resources, moments, will be drawn to you as surely as the tides obey the moon. Chapter 8. Aligning with the supreme good in every attraction. Every true attraction, if it is to be lasting, harmonious, and fruitful, must be aligned with the supreme good. It is not merely about attracting people, opportunities, or outcomes, but about drawing in that which, when manifested, expands life, ennobles the soul, and contributes to universal order. Nothing that contradicts the greater good can be sustained over time, even if it appears successful in the short term. The law of attraction does not respond to greed or obsession. It responds to vibration aligned with the eternal rhythm of the universe, and that rhythm is one of goodness, the constructive expansion of love that builds and blesses. A mind that holds thoughts in harmony with the good becomes a field of pure magnetic attraction. But when thought seeks to attract from selfishness, greed, or the desire to dominate, it may generate movement but not legitimate creation. The universe may allow certain things to manifest through crooked paths, but sooner or later, whatever is not rooted in the good collapses upon itself. For the universal substance, though obedient to thought, never abandons its essential nature, to create order, beauty, and growth. To attract in alignment with the supreme good is more than a virtuous act. It is a choice of effectiveness. When your thoughts, desires, and actions are aimed not only at your personal benefit, but also at the benefit of others, you surpass into the exact frequency of the universal mind. That mind does not distinguish between you and others. It sees the whole and favors the one who thinks and acts as part of that whole. This does not mean you must sacrifice your desires or suppress your longings. On the contrary, The true desires of the soul are instruments of the supreme good. Do you wish to prosper because your prosperity can do good? Do you wish to love because love multiplies life? Do you wish to create because what is born from you can inspire, heal, or transform? But if you wish to possess out of pride, if you wish to attract for vanity, if you wish to dominate to prove your power, you will stand against the universal current, and everything you manifest will be unstable, limited, and exhausting. A mind aligned with the higher good does not think in terms of what can I take, but in terms of what can I give by receiving. For every person, situation, or resource that comes into your life must serve not only your elevation but also the higher purpose that transcends you. In that giving lies permanence. In that flow lies true wealth. What is merely accumulated stagnates. What circulates in harmony with the good grows. When you form your creative thought, when you visualize what you wish to attract, ask yourself, does this desire truly contribute to my real expansion? Does it elevate my consciousness or merely feed my ego? Will it serve others as well as myself? Will it create beauty, order, freedom, or inspiration in the world? These questions are not limiting. They are filters that purify your intention. Thought that passes through this fire becomes vibrational gold, and the universe, which recognizes the charity of intention as much as the form of desire, responds more swiftly. For substance responds enthusiastically when it feels it will be used for good. The same is true of the people you attract. You must not call forth just anyone, but those whose presence strengthens the greater purpose. And this can only be achieved when your own vibration is clear, just, and in alignment with the collective good. Noble souls are drawn to noble thoughts. True opportunities come to those who think with integrity, and fruitful paths open to those who have decided that their success will also be a seed of abundance for others. There is a higher joy that arises when you know that what you are attracting not only belongs to you by affinity, but will also become a source of joy, healing, elevation, or expansion for other beings. That sensation is the sign that you are on the right path. There is no ego in it. There is unity. For the mind that vibrates in harmony with the supreme good no longer feels separate, but woven into the whole. And here lies another deep truth. When your thought aligns with the good, you become irreplaceable in the universal design, not as someone who believes themselves superior, but as one who has found their place and honors it in every act. The universe protects, assists, and multiplies those who are fulfilling their part of the greater plan. That is why you do not need to compete. You do not need to compare yourself. You only need to focus on thinking in a way that your attraction serves not only you, but something greater than you. Practically speaking, this means that when you formulate your vision, you must include the intention to contribute. If you wish to attract a partnership, let it be to create something together that benefits others. If you wish to attract resources, let it be to multiply the good you can do. If you wish to attract knowledge, let it be to share it. You are not required to sacrifice your personal joy. You are simply called to expand it beyond your individual self, because in that expansion lives the greatest creative power. And when trials, obstacles, or delays arise, ask yourself whether your vision still aligns with the supreme good, not to judge yourself, but to realign. Sometimes detours appear to help you purify your desire. Sometimes silence is a call to refine your intention. The universe does not deny, it corrects. It does not punish, it teaches, and it always rewards the one who has chosen to become a channel of expansion, not merely of accumulation. So then, think with an elevated vision. Visualize what you desire, not just to possess it, but so that through you it may become multiplied good, and all that is necessary, people, circumstances, opportunities, will come without fail because the supreme good supports those who have chosen to think as it thinks. For all, forever, for the good. Chapter 9. Synchronicities and coincidences are not random. In the world of creative thought, there are no accidents. What people call coincidences, chance, or luck are nothing more than precise manifestations of sustained thought set into motion within the universal substance. Every unexpected encounter, every seemingly random circumstance, every trivial conversation that triggers an opportunity is not a product of luck. It is the echo of your vibration, the material reflection of an image held in the invisible realm. One who has learned to think in a certain way does not walk through a world of chaos, but moves through an ordered, living, conscious universe that responds with perfect fidelity to every thought. The thinking substance not only receives the image of desire, it organizes it, shapes it, and brings it into being through pathways that the human intellect cannot foresee. That is why the most important events in a creative life rarely happen as planned. They unfold mysteriously, unexpectedly, but always with precision. When a thought is held with clarity, with faith and gratitude, it begins to emit a continuous vibration. That vibration becomes an organizing force. It moves people, alters paths, connects minds, synchronizes decisions, and orchestrates a series of events that may seem unrelated, yet are all responding to the same vibrational cause, your thought. This set of aligned events with no visible link, yet full of inner meaning, is what we call synchronicity. The ordinary person, unaware of the power of the mind, passes through life without seeing this hidden order. They are surprised when something tailor-made occurs and attribute it to luck. But the conscious creator recognizes the signal. They know the universe does not improvise. They understand that every meaningful coincidence is a direct response to what has been sown in the vibrational field. Therefore, far from overlooking it, they receive it with gratitude, as confirmation that their thought is bearing fruit. Here lies a truth that changes lives. Every encounter, every word overheard by chance, every obstacle turned into a door is a form of response from the universal mind. And the more steadfast your thought, the more frequent these synchronicities will be, and the clearer their connection to your desire. Sometimes someone appears who says exactly what you needed to hear. Sometimes a proposal arises that fits your vision precisely. Sometimes an apparent delay is what allows the best to arrive at the perfect moment. None of this is random. It is your thought acting in the world. But for these signs to become visible, you must remain alert, receptive, and serene. The agitated, impatient, or fearful mind cannot perceive synchronicities. It rushes past them. The mind that dwells in gratitude and trust, however, is open to reading the secret language of events. It does not demand proof. It recognizes it when it appears. It does not cling to one path. It allows the substance to choose the best route to manifest what is already in the process of arriving. It is important to understand that the universe does not always respond with one grand appearance. Often it works through small threads that weave subtly together to form the complete tapestry. Every meaningful coincidence is a thread. Every unexpected person, every phrase heard at the exact moment, every step that seems minor is part of a greater intelligence responding to your vibration. And if you understand this, you can walk with the certainty that you are being guided, accompanied, and supported at all times. These synchronicities also serve as guidance. Sometimes your thought may be straying, or your desire may need adjustment. The universe then responds with events that seem to block your way, but it is not punishment. It is loving correction. A conversation that shows you something you hadn't considered. An opportunity that doesn't arise because something better is forming. A delay that gives you time to mature an idea before taking action. All of these are ways in which your manifested thought, united with universal intelligence, leads you to the best possible fulfillment of your desire. Therefore, do not fear the unexpected. Do not close your eyes to what seems like coincidence. Everything that reaches you when you are thinking in a certain way has been summoned by you. Even situations that appear contrary, even difficult encounters, bring with them valuable information, necessary correction, or disguised momentum. Learn to ask, to what extent is this responding to what I've been thinking? What part of my vision is beginning to show in this? Am I recognizing the manifestation in its embryonic stage? The more refined your spiritual sensitivity, the more you will recognize that everything that happens makes sense within the greater design. The universe does not deliver things all at once. It reveals them step by step so that you, too, may participate actively in their creation. Synchronicities are calls to action. They tell you, keep thinking, keep acting, you are on the right path. And if you ever feel confused, if you believe nothing is happening, if the silence feels prolonged, remember that even in that silence your thought is organizing realities. Many times when nothing seems to move in the visible realm, the universe is working in the depths, connecting pieces you cannot yet see. And when the first sign arises, no matter how small, celebrate it as a divine appearance, because that is what it is, a living response to your creative thought. There is no randomness in the life of one who thinks with purpose. There are no coincidences without cause. There are only manifestations of a thought that has learned to vibrate in harmony with the whole. And the more you trust this process, the more you will see how the entire world, in its form, its rhythm, its details, responds to you. Because you have summoned it. Because you are creating it. Because in thinking a certain way, you have become the living cause of the invisible order that sustains everything. Chapter 10. Think of people, not names. One of the most common errors in creative thinking is the tendency to limit desire to the external wrapping, rather than keeping one's focus firmly on the essence. True creative thought does not operate with names or surnames. It operates through vibration, qualities, and pure intentions. A mind that seeks to attract people into its life, whether to love, collaborate, learn, or build, must form a vibrational image, not a specific face. It must think in terms of the type of person, not a particular individual. This may seem contradictory to someone still operating from possessive desire. How can I not think of a specific person if that's what I want? They might ask. But this is precisely where the difference between spiritual desire and emotional obsession must be understood. The first seeks union through purpose. The second seeks control. The first attracts. The second demands. And the universe does not respond to demands, but to what is emitted freely and harmoniously. When you think of someone by name with attachment or need, you are actually interrupting the natural flow of attraction. You are asserting that only that external form can contain what you seek, when in truth, the universal substance can offer you what you desire in countless forms, many of which are higher, more fitting, more harmonious than what your mind has restricted by name. You must always remember that the universal intelligence, which holds galaxies in balance and structures life, knows far better than you who should enter your life. It knows the souls that are ready, the ones vibrating in resonance with you, those who will contribute to the purpose you have declared with your thought. And those souls will come if you allow them to arrive without blocking the way with your own mental restrictions. To think of people without names is to think in terms of vibration. In other words, to speak to the universe. I wish to attract into my life a person with these qualities: loyalty, clarity, shared purpose, joy, vision. I desire to surround myself with souls committed to beauty, to service, to growth. I wish to attract collaborators who think nobly, who vibrate expansively, who act from love. By forming this image without a face, without a name, without a past, you give substance and freedom to materialize what you have asked for in its most perfect form. Perhaps this person is someone you already know. Perhaps not. Perhaps they live far or close. Perhaps they have already thought of you without knowing why. But what is certain is this: if you hold the vibration, they will come. And they will come not because you named them, but because you called them by what they truly are: a frequency, a presence, an extension of your vision. This also protects your inner peace, because by not attaching yourself to a man or woman, you do not suffer if someone walks away. Do you understand that no one can occupy a place that doesn't correspond to them vibrationally? Do you see that love, Friendship, collaboration, and meaningful encounter are not the product of insistence, but of natural affinity. That is why you do not cling. You simply hold your vibrational field steady and allow the true to arrive and remain. Creative thought is not anxious about loss. It knows that anything lost did not match its frequency. It knows that what truly belongs by vibrational law is on its way, and that knowing brings freedom. For inner freedom is the most fertile ground from which to attract, not from need, but from love. If you desire to attract a partner, do not think of a specific person who may not be aligned with you. Think of the energy of the relationship you wish to experience. Feel that energy. Give thanks for it. Act as one who already lives in it and allow the universe to assign a face. It may match the one you imagined, or surprise you with a form even more beautiful and true. If you wish to attract a collaborator, a friend, a partner, do not envision someone already known simply out of convenience. Focus on what you wish to build together. Plant the seed of shared vision, and the universe will draw to you the one who resonates with that same desire. And when that person comes, you will know, not because you feel need, but because you feel recognition. There will be no effort, only synchronicity. Thinking in vibration, not in form, is a sign of spiritual maturity. It is trusting that the universal mind does not err in assigning faces and circumstances. It is ceasing to direct the universe and beginning to cooperate with it. And in that cooperation, a full life unfolds, where relationships are not pressured or forced, but magnetized by pure affinity. Remember, thought does not need superficial details to attract. It needs inner truth. It needs clarity in what is essential. It needs faith in the invisible process. It needs gratitude for what has already been prepared, even if it has not yet been seen. So then, think of people but not of names. Feel the presence but do not define the figure. Give thanks for the encounter, even if it has not yet come. And when it does, you will know it was the work of divine law, not your personal will. And that certainty will be your greatest peace, because you will know that what arrives in this way comes to stay, not drawn from lack, but from the vibration of the soul. Chapter 11. How Thought Organizes Projects Through Time. Sustained thought not only holds the power to attract people, conditions, and resources, but also possesses the ability to invisibly orchestrate the perfect sequence of events that shape a project over time. There is no clear idea, held with faith and gratitude, that does not begin to structure its own fulfillment from the moment it is born in the mind. Universal substance responds to thought not only instantly, but with an intelligence that transcends linear time. This principle is essential for anyone who wishes to build something great, something lasting, something true. For higher ideas, those that aim to contribute, to transform, to expand life, require time to be woven by the universe. Not because the universe is slow, but because its perfection does not allow shortcuts. Every creative thought, when sustained with consistency, begins to operate on planes unseen by the eye, at the level of people you have not yet met, in places you have not yet visited, through details you have not yet imagined. Every project, a work, a business, a mission, a creation, is not merely a set of visible actions, but an invisible architecture first outlined by the mind. And once the vibration of purpose is released, intelligent substance begins to summon, to reorganize, to connect, to sow, to prepare. It works in silence, with mathematical precision, like an architect drawing invisible blueprints and guiding the workers without being seen. But the impatient man who does not understand this delayed yet real action often interrupts the process through doubt, despair, or force. Universal substance forgets no command issued from a clear, sustained, and grateful thought. Even if time seems prolonged, even if nothing appears to move in the visible realm, the thought continues to act. It is influencing distant minds, pulling strings not yet crossed, preparing encounters that will be decisive, shaping conditions that must be ready for the project to manifest without cracks. Therefore, when you feel that nothing is happening, Do not change your thought. Deepen it. Do not alter your vision. Affirm it. Do not be deceived by apparent slowness. For the speed of the universe is not measured by clocks, but by perfect synchronicity. Creative thought, when held with faith, is like a seed germinating underground. Its development is hidden, yet unstoppable. The wise man does not dig each day to see if it has sprouted. He waters, he tends, he trusts. Understand this, your project is not yours alone. If it was born from a higher desire, it is already part of a greater design. And the universe, which always cooperates with the expansion of life, will begin to mobilize everything needed for its fulfillment. It will attract those meant to help you, remove what does not belong, delay what must mature, and accelerate what is ready. And you, if you remain faithful to the thought, will act at every stage, not from anxiety, but from the precise inspiration that comes from connection with the universal mind. There will be moments when you won't know what to do. That too is part of the process. Silence is as necessary as action. Pause is not failure, it is preparation. In those moments, the wisest thing is to remain in the vision, to keep acting efficiently in small things, and to cultivate a deep gratitude that keeps the connection with the higher plane open. For a project is not built only with hands, it is built above all with sustained vibration. And when the moment to act comes, you will know. You will not need extraordinary signs. A quiet intuition will suffice, a timely coincidence, an unexpectedly clear circumstance. For the thought that organizes projects not only attracts resources, it also arranges time. The universe makes no calendar mistakes. Every step comes when it must. Every person appears when they are useful. Every situation aligns so that action flows naturally. This does not remove your responsibility. On the contrary, it demands mental discipline, loyalty to your vision, and coherence in your daily actions. For though the universe organizes, you are the channel through which the work will manifest. And if you doubt, if you contradict yourself, if you give up, you interrupt the flow. The organizing thought needs a firm emitter, and that emitter is you, not by privilege, but by daily choice. You must also understand that not every project manifests within your expected time. Some require years, not because the universe is slow, but because the maturation of human elements follows its own rhythm. The people who are meant to help you are in their own processes. Social, economic, and spiritual conditions must align, and in the meantime, you are being prepared. Each day you hold your vision with faith and gratitude is another day of inner refinement. Do not think you are waiting. You are creating. Even when it seems that nothing is happening, you are sending waves that move through universal substance, placing invisible pieces, weaving the path, summoning what is needed. Do not underestimate the power of thought sustained through time. It is more powerful than any scattered action. It is more effective than any empty strategy, because it is in union with the whole. So then think deeply. Hold your project in your mind as one who already lives it. Be grateful for every step, visible or not, and act faithfully as one who knows they are building, not only for themselves, but for a purpose that transcends them. For true thought, when clear and sustained, organizes time, space, and circumstances, and transforms the invisible into form, the distant into the present, the imagined into living reality. Chapter 12. The environment as a receptive field of our mind. The environment in which a person lives, home, work, relationships, and circumstances, is not a fixed and immovable reality. It is, in essence, a receptive, pliable, and obedient field that responds to the dominant vibration of the mind. Everything that surrounds the individual is nothing more than a reflection, sometimes direct, sometimes delayed, of their sustained thoughts. The outer life is not the cause, it is the effect. The cause is always in the mind. This principle is universal and constant. The mind, when it holds a clear vision filled with faith and gratitude, begins to emit a continuous vibration that penetrates the universal substance but also permeates the immediate environment of the individual. What once seemed static, an inflexible job, a stagnant relationship, a hostile city, a limited life, begins to transform. Not by chance or by miracle, but through the slow and certain work of a consciousness that has decided to create rather than react. The most common mistake of those who do not understand the law of thought is to believe they must wait for conditions to change in order to change themselves. They wait for an external opportunity, a favorable movement, a twist of fate. But those who have learned to think in a certain way know that the environment is malleable, that everything around them can be reordered, transformed, and elevated when their thinking aligns with a sustained vision. There is no circumstance that can indefinitely resist a clear and firm thought. There is no environment that cannot be transformed by a mind vibrating in harmony with its purpose. The key is not to fight against the environment, but to think above it. Because what thought holds as real, the environment eventually reflects, either by changing in form or by yielding space to a new reality more aligned with the mental vision. This is clearly seen in the stories of those who, without changing location, began to think with greatness and soon saw their world begin to open. Doors were unlocked, people changed, paths revealed themselves, not because the world decided to favor them, but because their thinking began to emit a different signal, one that the universal substance recognized and responded to by reorganizing everything around them. The mind is like a sun. Wherever it directs its light, things begin to bloom. If the mind dwells on limitation, the environment darkens. If it thinks in terms of possibility, the environment responds with opportunities. And it is not even necessary to think directly about the environment. It is enough to think about the desired vision with such clarity and strength that the vibration it generates begins to transform everything that is inconsistent with it. Thus, whatever is out of harmony fades, and what vibrates in alignment begins to emerge. Some ask, how can I attract a new life if I'm surrounded by lack, conflict, and mediocrity? The answer is this: do not focus on changing what you see. Focus on sustaining what you wish to see. Do not curse your environment. Elevate it from within with the power of a thought that does not bow to the visible. The universal substance begins its work when you begin yours. And your work is not to transform the world by force, but to transform your vibration through sustained thought. Imagine your environment as a field ready to be sown. Plant thoughts of abundance, and that field will respond. Plant thoughts of peace, and that peace will begin to reflect. Plant ideas of growth, collaboration, and beauty, and people and circumstances will begin to align with them. This does not happen instantly, because the substance needs time to reorganize what you have held for years, but it happens surely, and it happens in proportion to the faithfulness with which you hold your vision. You must not flee from your current environment as if it were an enemy. You must see it as a temporary mirror of what you have vibrated until now, and if you do not like it, do not lament. Think differently, and observe how the mirror begins to change. Sometimes the shift is subtle. A person changes their attitude, an unexpected opportunity arises, a new breeze begins to circulate. Sometimes it is radical. Everything that no longer corresponds to your new vibration disappears, and new paths open that you had never considered. But you must be prepared, because when you think in a certain way, the environment reacts, and that reaction sometimes includes the departure of people, the end of situations, the fall of old structures. Do not see this as loss, but as cleansing. The vision you have sustained is displacing what no longer is. It is making space for what is to come. And if you remain firm in your vision without clinging to what is leaving, you will soon see how what arrives is fuller, more exact, more true. Do not underestimate the sensitivity of your environment. It is more receptive than you think. Your thoughts permeate everything: the atmosphere of your home, the rhythm of your relationships, the quality of your work. And the higher your vibration, the more subtle and powerful your influence. You do not need to impose changes. Your very presence, vibrating from the sustained vision, begins to modify what surrounds you. This is how the great creators of the world have transformed empires. Without raising their voices, their thought was stronger than any word. Therefore, look at your environment with new eyes, not as a prison but as fertile ground, not as a barrier, but as a canvas ready to be rewritten, not as an obstacle, but as an echo responding to your mind. And then think, truly think, with faith, with gratitude, with consistency, and you will see, as the days pass, how the world around you begins to change. For the environment is not stronger than the mind. The environment is a manifestation, and you, if you think in a certain way, are the living cause of all that shall manifest. Chapter 13. The thought that inspires others to act for us. One of the most sublime expressions of the mind's creative power is its ability to move the will of others, not by force or manipulation, but through vibration. Sustained thought, emitted from clarity, faith, and gratitude, not only organizes external conditions and transforms the environment, but also inspires other minds to act on our behalf, without the need to persuade, seek out, or convince them. This is a silent but deeply active law. The mind that vibrates in unity with its vision becomes a beacon, a magnet, a spark that ignites those destined to participate in the work. It is not about dominating wills or influencing others by force. Who seeks to make others submit to their plans through insistence, seduction, or emotional pressure operates outside the principle of harmonious creation. The true creator does not need to control anyone, because they know the universal mind is already moving the necessary people at the right moment to collaborate, assist, invest, teach, share, or open doors that from the ego would be impossible to force. This is not idealism, it is a vibratory law. When your thought is clear, when you not only desire something but have internally aligned yourself with its manifestation, your mind begins to emit a specific frequency. That frequency reaches other human beings, even if you don't know them, even if they are miles away, and touches a dormant chord within them. Then they feel an impulse to write to you, talk to you, propose something, help you, or trust you without apparent reason. This is why, when you are truly connected with your purpose, the right people appear without you searching for them. It's as if the universe had organized a secret meeting, a rendezvous between souls already linked by a common purpose, even if they had never crossed paths in time. And when that meeting happens, it feels inevitable. There is no tension, no negotiation, only recognition. Some of those beings will come to provide resources, others ideas, others contacts. Some will arrive just to say a phrase that reorients you. Others will walk a long path with you. You don't need to know who they are. You only need to keep your thought vibrating in coherence with the work you are creating. Because the universe, hearing that frequency, will mobilize the necessary pieces like a great chess player who sees the entire board, not just your position. Even more wonderful is that those others are also seeking their purpose, also formulating their own visions, and by you holding yours strongly, you become the answer to someone else's desire. You are unknowingly the peace another mind is asking for. Therefore, the most generous act you can do for the world is not to try to help everyone, but to keep your creative thought with complete faithfulness. Because by doing so, you allow others to find you, activate through you, and together shape a higher reality for all. And how is this thought different from simple desire? Because it is not soaked in need, lack, or urgency. It does not say, I need someone to help me, to rescue me, to get me out of this. It says instead, I am holding a clear, just, and expansive vision, and I know that everything necessary, including the people, will be attracted to it by law. In that state, there is no anxiety, only certainty, and that certainty is magnetic. Imagine a mind holding the desire to build a school, a community, a radiant enterprise. That mind thinks day after day about the fulfilled vision, gives thanks for it, acts as if it were already underway. What does the universe do? It begins moving builders, wise people, financiers, dreamers, who, without knowing it, had been waiting for a cause to invest their energy in. And then they come, knock on the door, call, offer, join in, and everything begins to take shape with a perfection that could not be designed by the human mind. This also explains why you should not beg, chase, or try to convince anyone. Clear thought, when sustained with strength, does all of that for you, but in a superior way. It does not stoop to struggle. It does not beg. It does not exhaust itself. It simply radiates. And in that radiance, kindred hearts awaken, and the right actions occur without resistance. Now, do not confuse this inspiring attraction with passivity. You must also be ready to recognize those who come, to act when they call, to open yourself to unexpected collaborations. Sometimes what you have asked for arrives in ways not immediately recognizable. It may come as an apprentice who later becomes a master, as a stranger who brings a key, as a seemingly insignificant gesture that opens a chain of opportunities. The key lies in receptivity, and receptivity is cultivated through faith. Keep in mind that the universe never sends help if you have not begun to act faithfully. The thought that inspires others to act for you is the thought you yourself have embodied in your life. If you want to attract committed allies, be committed first to your vision. If you want to attract brilliant minds, cultivate your clarity. If you want to attract generous hands, act yourself from vibrational generosity, because everything you attract is yourself multiplied. And do not fear the timing. Sometimes the necessary people do not arrive immediately because the universe is preparing them or preparing you. Delay is not forgetfulness, it is design. And when you finally meet, you will know that everything was perfect. Because what is yours by affinity does not need to be forced. It simply appears, fits, is recognized, and works with you. Thus, your creative thought becomes a message sent to the universe, and the universe responds with messengers, not because you sought them, but because your vibration called them. And they, like you, were also waiting for the signal. Chapter 14. How to think so opportunities come to you naturally. In the logic of ordinary thought, it is believed that the only way to progress in life is to go out and search for opportunities, chase them eagerly, compete with others for them, and often sacrifice oneself to the point of exhaustion just to get a chance. But in the creative universe, where mind and substance form a living unity, true opportunities are not sought. They are attracted. They don't come from the desperation of someone chasing everything that moves, but from the orderly vibration of one who has learned to think in a certain way. Every legitimate opportunity, that is, one in harmony with your purpose, your vision, and your growth, is attracted by law. It does not appear by coincidence, nor is it discovered by luck. It appears as a natural response to sustained thought. It manifests externally as the form of an internal idea that has been held with clarity, faith, and gratitude. It appears because you first created it invisibly, and the universal substance responded by preparing the necessary conditions for it to manifest in the visible realm. The mistake many make is running after external opportunities without first having created an internal vibratory field. They act from anxiety, lack, and the need to solve something they feel is beyond their control. No matter how hard they try, those desired opportunities slip away, appear as mirages, or come burdened with effort, exhaustion, and emptiness. This happens because the mind hasn't done its job first. The vibration is disordered, and the universe cannot respond clearly to a confused signal. A mind that has learned to attract knows that opportunity is not a random event, but a consequence. Therefore, it does not fret, run, or beg. It forms the image of what it wants to achieve, sustains it, acts daily in harmony with that vision, and meanwhile gives thanks as if it already holds what it desires. This mental attitude creates a magnetic field that begins to shape the environment. Then what once seemed impossible aligns, what was hidden is revealed. Doors that were closed open by themselves. But here clarity is required. Not every opportunity is a true opportunity. There are paths that look bright but lead astray. proposals that seem urgent but confuse, shortcuts that promise quick results but steal the soul. The only way to attract true opportunities is by thinking from the center of your being, not from the edges of the ego. Because the universal mind does not respond to thought tainted by greed or impatience. It responds to thought vibrant with purpose aligned to the good. When you want to attract opportunities, don't think about the how, think about the what. Don't obsess over means, connections, or scenarios. Form with total clarity the image of what you want to experience or accomplish. Feel it as present. Live as if it were already underway, then allow the universe to handle the paths. This surrender, far from passivity, is the most powerful act of trust a creative mind can emit. Because one who trusts the law doesn't need to chase, they only need to hold steady. And when the opportunity comes, because it will come with such clarity that it leaves no room for doubt. It won't be noisy or dramatic. It will be natural, like the rain that comes after a long season of sowing. It will be precise, like a key fitting the exact lock. You won't have to force anything because what is yours by vibration adjusts to you without resistance, and you will recognize it by the peace it brings, by the inner resonance, by the silent certainty that says this is it. This principle also removes the fear of missing out. What didn't come was not meant for you. What moved away did not vibrate with you. What didn't solidify was not aligned with your true thought. The opportunity that is yours cannot be taken by anyone else, not because you have privilege, but because your thought is already forming it in substance, and that form can only correspond to you. This is the justice of the law. Everyone receives according to what they hold in their consciousness. Therefore, don't seek opportunities. Think opportunities, don't chase. Attract. And to attract, keep your mind elevated, your emotion in gratitude, your action efficient. Let everything in you vibrate as one who is already living the opportunity desired. Let your words, your walk, your atmosphere reflect what has yet to manifest. Because what the universe sees is not your plea but your vibration. And it responds with divine mathematics. And when everything seems still, when you see no signs, don't abandon your thought, because even then the universe is organizing. It may be connecting minds, shifting pieces, preparing scenarios. You may not yet be ready to receive, but if you remain firm in your thought, one unexpected coincidence will open the way. A phrase heard, an unexpected call, a sudden idea will be the thread that leads what your mind has been calling from the beginning. This is how opportunities come to you naturally, because they are nothing other than the manifestation of your thought. And when that thought is pure, constant, and grateful, the universe is quick to respond, not because it favors you, but because you have learned to think as it thinks, with order, with purpose, with silent certainty. Chapter 15, The Attractive Life. Becoming a permanent center of creation. The ultimate purpose of sustained thought is not merely to attract an opportunity, a person, or a temporary improvement. The purpose is higher, more continuous, more transcendent. The goal is to become a permanent center of conscious creation, a radiant point within the universe from which substance flows, organizes, takes shape, and multiplies good in all directions. It's not about obtaining something occasionally, but about living in a constant state of magnetic attraction, like a living force that radiates vision, purpose, and power from its deepest core. This state is not reached by accident, nor maintained by passing emotional impulses. It is the fruit of a trained mind, a consciousness that has learned to vibrate persistently at the level of the source. The attractive life is the art of living from sustained thought, not as a practice that switches on and off according to need, but as a way of being, a way of existing in the world, a constant vibration that never ceases even in silence, even in rest. One who has understood the principles of mental creation and has seen how their environment, relationships, paths, and even the rhythms of time respond to their vibration, can no longer return to erratic living, scattered thinking, or automatic reaction. The creative consciousness transforms everything, becoming the center of gravity of experience, And that center, when aligned with the universal mind, continuously attracts all that is coherent with its vision. Living in that state of continuous attraction requires, first of all, constancy. Thought cannot fluctuate. Vision cannot change with the mood of the day or the noise of the surroundings. The mind must settle on its inner image like the sun in its orbit, steady, incandescent, vulnerable only to passing clouds. This does not mean rigidity, but vibrational fidelity. It means holding on to the purpose even when the form is not yet visible. It means living as if one already is, even before the world reflects it. It also requires inner humility. The attractive mind does not contradict itself. It does not desire one thing and act against it. It does not affirm abundance and surrender to fear. It does not visualize love and harbor resentment. Every internal contradiction disperses magnetic force and weakens the vibrational field. That is why the conscious creator purifies their thought daily, reviews their intention, observes their emotion, lovingly corrects any deviation, not to be perfect, but to keep their center clean, clear, and powerful. The attractive life is also a life of sacred action. It does not limit itself to thinking, but acts in harmony with its vision. Every word, every step, every choice is imbued with meaning. There are no empty movements, no inert routines. Everything is part of the creative flow. Even the seemingly banal, preparing a meal, attending a conversation, organizing a space, becomes a vibration that supports the greater creation. Because one who lives from creative thought creates even when seemingly at rest. Moreover, the attractive life is a life of permanent gratitude. Gratitude is its atmosphere, its language, its vital tone. It does not only give thanks for what it receives, but also for what it emits. It thanks for the power to think, for the privilege to create, for the very fact of being a channel between the invisible and the visible. And this gratitude never fades. It vibrates even amid challenge. It sings even in uncertainty because it knows substance is responding, even if the result is not yet visible. The being who has become a permanent center of attraction does not impose, does not demand, does not rush. They walk in peace, speak truthfully, wait with certainty, because they no longer doubt the law. They know the universe is in perpetual motion, and that all that is needed, people, resources, opportunities, ideas, is being drawn to them with mathematical precision by the sole force of their sustained thought. They know they have nothing to prove because the vibration does everything for them, and this state does not separate them from the world, but connects them more deeply to it. For everything living in high vibration, people, animals, places, processes, begins to recognize that frequency and align with it. The conscious creator thus becomes a source of order for others. They inspire without speaking, awaken without pushing, radiate effortlessly, and the more they give, the more they receive. The more they deliver, the more they attract. Because the attractive life is not accumulation, it is the constant circulation of good. To live in this state, you do not need to possess material wealth, titles, or recognition. You only need to think from your center, act in coherence, and trust the law. You need to remember day after day that you are a magnet, a channel, a creator, and that the universe does not respond to the one who begs, but to the one who vibrates. Not to the one who fears, but to the one who trusts. Not to the one who strives without direction, but to the one who walks in certainty. The attractive life is the result of thought that has ceased to fluctuate. It is the fruit of consciousness that has learned to live in alignment, and it is the natural state of the human being when they remember their true power. You can become that center, not by privilege but by choice, not by chance but by thought. And once you are, you will never again ask how to attract anything because you will have understood that you don't need to attract anything. You are already radiating everything.